UFC Fight Night Edwards versus Brady takes place this weekend, and can we just quickly get a round of applause for Dana White and the UFC? They've got a UK-based event happening at UK time. I mean, some said it couldn't be done. Okay, so I was optimistic and thinking they can definitely get this done. But without further ado, let's get on to predicting these fights. We're gonna try and whiz through some of the prelims. We're gonna, because they're less important than the main event. We're gonna explain the main card a little bit more in depth. So we're going to try and whiz through some of these prelim fights, and let's just get down to predicting, yeah? Garam Kuteletsky, that butchered his name, but versus Caio Fernandez. I think Kaletsky will win this one. He is just an all-round bad fighter. I don't think him a finish, nor do I think Fernandez will get a finish. Obviously, I mean, Kuteletsky is a very big favorite. I don't think that's how you say his name. I'm going to pick him to win by decision. I feel like it's going to be quite a competitive decision in a way that every single round is competitive, but I think Kuteletsky will get it done over the course of 3 rounds. That's my interpretation on whatever this fight is. Okay, moving on. Nathan Fletcher versus Kyron Laugren. I think that's how we say his name. I'm not positive, but I'm like 90% sure, so I am positive, but never mind. I think Fletcher will get this one done. He did have his fights on the Contender Series, not the Contender Series, the other one, the bad one, the Ultimate Fighter, at featherweight. So he did struggle a little bit at featherweight because he is quite undersized for that division. That's also because on the Ultimate Fighter, you have to cut weight a bunch. Like, you have to come along and I'm messing around with something. If you, like, on the Ultimate Fighter, you have to make weight like 4 or 5 times. Probably not even that's probably less than that. But you have to make weight a bunch of times. So it doesn't make sense to be cutting 20 pounds of water weight twice a week. So nowadays, at more of his natural weight class of bantamweight, I can't believe I'm saying that, but I think he'll be able to get it done. He's quite a big bantamweight and quite strong for the division pound for pound. And I feel like he can definitely get past Laugren, who is he's very similar to like Marvin Vettori in a way that he doesn't really have much in his arsenal in terms of ability. He's not going to throw a wheel kick, you know what I mean? But I feel like Fletcher will be able to get it done. He does have good grappling, especially at 135. So I'm going to bank with Fletcher to win this one. Moving on, Shauna Bonnen versus Pooja Tolmar. Pooja Tolmar, I do not rate whatsoever. Okay, her only wins effectively are out of Matrix Fight Night, which, if you don't already know, is the main MMA promotion in India, which is a struggling, they don't do very well in MMA whatsoever as like a country. I feel like, and Tolmar, every time she's faced anyone who is remotely good, she has lost to them or scabbed herself a robbery. So in the UFC, her only win and her only fight is a robbery, if we're going to be honest, against a strawweight fighter. I think strawweight, or it could be fair. I'm not, but it would definitely be strawweight. And then she went to one for 2 or 3 years, or no, 2 or 3 fights, sorry, and got butchered there. So I'm gonna go with Shauna Bonnen to get this one done by decision. I'm very confident about this pick, despite it being a pick-em, I think. But I'm very, very confident about this pick. Yeah. Next up, Christopher Leroy Duncan versus Andrei Polyev. Yeah, we're near with that. We're going to call him Andre for the sake of this one. Andre, he's back. I'm going to go Christopher Leroy Duncan here. The problem is, I've said this about every single lanky fighter that has ever fought, and the more I think about it, none of them actually being knocked out in this way. But I say that, but if you look at their build, and you go, okay, right, do you reckon they could take a punch? You look at them and go, no, I don't think they've got a good chin. I think that they're depleting too much weight. They don't have a lot of frame behind them. But apparently that's wrong, and that's never happened before. But I'm banking on it happening in this fight. That was a bunch of yapping. I'm going to try and explain this more for effective way. Basically, when you look at someone who has quite a weak frame or looks frail, or they've looked like they've caught a lot of weight, look, TJ Dillashaw at flyweight doesn't have a chin because of how much he's cutting, how frail he looks, all that jazz. I think Andre is going to get chinned because of his frame. Effectively, that's what I'm saying. Does that make any sense whatsoever? No. Are we going to be moving on to the next fight? Yes. Marcin Tybura versus Mick Parkin. Very excited about this one. Hopefully Tybura won't sit on him for 3 rounds. If that does happen, we get another heavyweight fraud check over some guy who actually has talent, and we might as well just shut down the entire division. I'm going with a Mick Parkin KO in round 1, strictly because if it doesn't happen, we could be screwed as a division, as a company, as an organization, as a sport, with the lack of heavyweight talent we have. The odds makers are making it in favor of Tybura, I think, or it's very even. Now, this is probably because they know Mick Parkin's very good, but Tybura is also, he is known to just fraud check people by sitting on them. So I'm going to go with Mick Parkin to win, but I wouldn't be surprised if Marcin Tybura frauded himself a fraud check, if that makes any sense. Moving on. Lona Kavanagh versus Felipe Dos Anjos. Kavanagh is very good. He didn't look very good in his debut, though. He was good. He threw some great body kicks, good head kicks. But in terms of like good striking, like his striking display from his hands specifically were a little bit questionable. His defense was questionable at times. I don't think he got taken down. I'll have to rewatch that fight that happened in Macau, which was his debut. I'm going to go with Kavanagh to win this one, just because Dos Anjos is another bottom of the barrel flyweight. But I'm going to pick Kavanagh to win this one. It'll be interesting to see how he does, because in his debut, it was 2 rounds to 1. Pretty mixed display from... I mean, obviously, you're going to get that with flyweight. It's going to be very close. But it's not like we've seen... we've seen flyweight dominations where people are just not on the same level as them. Like, if you go back to Albazi versus Moreno beaten 5 rounds to 0. Very clear display from Moreno. Whereas Kavanagh, he kind of performs as like, there's room for error here, and there's not. He didn't look like a well-oiled machine, but he is only, I think he's like 24 years old. He's not very old. He's quite young. There's a lot of improvements to be made, but I would be quite skeptical about putting him against a very high-level opponent. However, against Dos Anjos, I think he'll get it done. So that's my pick for this. Moving on, Jai Herbert versus, that's why Zeno Akiera has moved to guy. Jai Herbert versus Chris Padilla. Well, Wincon Padilla. I feel like Jai Herbert might get chinned again. I'm going to be honest. We've seen him get chinned before. Obviously, Topuria flatline KO'd him. Topuria's flatline KO'd everyone. So it doesn't really make any... we can't really hold him to that. He has been knocked out before, though, and he has taken quite a bit of damage. Also, in this photo, it looks like he's in desperate need of a good night's sleep. So I think Padilla's going to get done. I'm saying round 2 KO. But... It could well be a round 1. It could be a round 1 for Jai Herbert as well. Very close fight. 50-50 coin flip. I'm going to side with Chris Padilla on this one, though. Moving on to the main card. I don't know why 3 of my pitches haven't loaded in. I believe they haven't actually loaded. Yep, they haven't. Okay, that's going to ruin my video. Imagine they're loaded in the actual video, and if they've loaded in the actual video, I'm not going to make a big deal of it. But on my screen... Molly McCann, Alexa Thurathin, or whatever her name is, and Chris Duncan, all of their pitches I've loaded in. So if that's happened for you, then sorry about the production quality. If it hasn't happened for you, completely forget I'm saying anything and just, we're going to go with the flow. Nathaniel Wood versus Morgan Shirey. It's a close one, very close. I think Nathaniel Wood has thrown away finishing positions before. I'm gonna go with Nathaniel Wood. Okay, I've already got like the thing. I'm kind of questioning myself as I'm doing it, because I've got. I don't tell me the entire rest of America. I was just looking at the bottom. Never mind, doesn't matter. And Nathaniel Wood has. I'm kind of questioning my own picks at this point, but I'm going to side with Nathaniel Wood. I feel like he is a bad fighter. Boy, you could easily lose this one. It is another 50-50 in my opinion. Next up, we have Jordan Vucek versus Chris Duncan. On my screen, neither of these photos have loaded in. Hopefully they've loaded in for you, but just in case, I'm going to try and breeze through this one. Vucek is very good. Duncan's also pretty good as well. Don't get me wrong. You don't make UFC if you're a complete bomb, unless you're in a heavyweight division. I'm gonna go with Vucek to win this one. Be a submission round 2. Duncan just sticks his heads into guillotines. I feel like if Vucek can find a guillotine, or if Duncan just yams his head into one, I feel like a submission in round 2 makes a lot of sense. We always pick round 2 because if you pick round 1, it's kind of like no one really goes balls to the wall in round 1 unless you're like there's a huge mismatch. Round 2 makes a lot more sense. Both fighters have kind of settled into the fight a little bit. There's not even any logic behind it because I don't think like statistically a lot of finishes happen in the second round. It doesn't matter. I'm picking Vucek to win by submission round 2. We're going to go deeper than that and say guillotine. Chris Duncan always sticks his head into a guillotine. Moving on. Molly McCann versus Alexa Thinrat. I think Molly McCann's going to be a beating, if I'm going to be honest. Her striking's a little bit mid. Grappling's alright, but, you know, I think that Alexa's going to be outdone in her debut. I'm going to say by decision. Could well be a finish, but I think a decision makes a lot of sense just because of the lack of power in this matchup. Then it could well get it done by a finish, though. Actually, now I think about it, we're going to go with a decision, then we're going to bank decision. Moving on to the third fight is who I can actually see their faces off because the picture is actually loaded in. Gunnar Nelson versus Kevin Holland. I'm not picking Holland to win by decision. I don't know why it says that. We're picking Gunnar Nelson to win my round 1 submission. Holland is awful on the ground. And top of that, he doesn't try in any of his fights. Last 5 fights, he's got 1 win. He doesn't try. He got submitted the Intrainer de Rida. Gunnar Nelson's got a very good jiu-jitsu and submission game. I'm going to pick Gunnar Nelson to get this one, gun my submission. Then again, though, Holland is cutting to 170, meaning that he might actually be trying to win this fight. You know, that sounds crazy that a UFC fighter might actually be trying to win a fight for once. But I'm going to pick Gunnar Nelson to win. But don't be surprised if Kevin Holland pulls this one out of the bag. Next up, Jan Blachowicz versus Carlos Ulberg. I'm going with Carlos Ulberg because I think he is the better fighter. I think he has the highest chance of getting it done. But Jan Blachowicz should not be overlooked. This guy, 42 years of age. Listen, that Bahera fight was close. I think that was 2023. That was, 2 years there. I think he was 40 when it known. Maybe in 41. That doesn't make any sense. It was not No, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't matter. I think, and then he had the ankle eye fight before that where it was a draw. Then he adds, Rakic before that then he did Adesanya, beat Adesanya, outstruck Adesanya. And then, And then before that it was Reyes before that where he won the title. So, don't count Jan Blachowicz out. Ulberg should get this one done, but Blachowicz, it's a close one. Very close. I'm gonna call Ulberg, but don't be sleeping on my boy Jan Blachowicz. I'm gonna sleep on him. Main event, Leon Edwards versus Sean Brady. My people are sleeping on Leon Edwards. They are sleeping on him. And they're saying, Brady this, Brady that. People forget that Edwards is so good. He is a very good technical striker. Boring striker. Doesn't have a lot about her. Very technical, very good at distance management. Against Brady, though, I've got my fingers stuck in my microphone. Wow, that's weird. Okay, against Brady, Brady's got a very good takedown game. And he looks alright on the feet. Granted, he didn't get put out by Belal Muhammad. Edwards didn't get put out by Belal Muhammad, but Brady did. Edwards does kind of struggle against shorter opponents, though, which is a problem. But he does have good takedown defense. And on top of that, his rear high kick or the left high kick, especially the one that we saw against Usman, he's been doing that shit for his entire career. Okay? Very, very strong left high kick. That can finish a fight instantly, if we're being honest. He did that shit. He did that stuff against Belal in their first fight. Rocked it. Well, not rocked, to be kind of like, wobbled him. Done it against Diaz a bunch of times. Obviously did against Usman when he put him out cold. Very technical striker. Brady, he also has very good takedown defense as well, and a good ground game. I think he gets us done over Brady. I don't see a realm where Brady is better than Edwards. Obviously, that sounds very delusional. But I didn't see a world where Brady beats Leon Edwards, despite being the favorite, which is insane. So I'm going to pick Leon Edwards to get it done by boring decision. Very technical, boring decision. But I feel like he will get it done, especially because I don't rate Brady, especially with Brady coming in short nose. You know what I mean? Where's his short nose? Was he booked to fight someone else? I think it is short nose. I'm banking with Leon Edwards in this one. Regardless, let me know what you think of my picks. If you if you did enjoy this video, then just leave a like, subscribe, please. You know, I'll leave a comment and let us know what you think of my picks. I'll see you in there. Fun. Goodbye.